for a small, just getting by gift import business in North Portland when he drops dead one Sunday night. And Sidney, our friend, the protagonist, our hero, or whatever, ex-salesman, now working for this lowly shipping company, as a clerk, processing inventory, shipping out orders, is forced to fill in for the dead man. The boss says, "You're going on the road. If you don't, I don't need you." So he cleans out Jonesy's the company Cadillac, cigar fumes and other things in the trunk of the car that you'll have to find out for yourself. And starts off down the coast. From Astoria to Brookings, he drops in on every gift store and he says, "Hi, I'm Sidney Lister. Jonesy's dead. Let's make a deal." And the responses are different at every stop. And he begins to understand this Jonesy, whom he never liked, a big, fat, cigar-smoking blowhard. But he's a different guy at every stop. He's a hero. He's a lech. He's a good guy. He's a good all-around buddy. And Sidney's having to fill in for him and so forth. He runs onto things that Jonesy has set up that he has to take on and handle and so forth. It's an amazing experience for him. In the meantime, Sidney did a bad thing some years ago when he lived in Eugene and left some guy hanging, and that guy is very angry. His name is John Marr, whom you'll begin to know, who is not a very nice man. And in the course of the story, and Sidney running down the coast, John has decided he's had enough and he's going to kill Sidney. So he's chasing him down the coast while Sidney's trying to go from gift store to gift store and sell gewgaws. Anyway, Sidney's on the road again, being tested one more time, making another reach for the success and hoping to live to enjoy it. I'm going to give you just a very brief scene here. A book reviewer, actually near the Dalles, I was doing a book tour up that way, read my book and wanted me to do a radio interview, and he said, "You know, I would like you to read a specific section that spoke to me of the whole book." He found something that now I prefer over anything else that I share with readers. In this scene, on page 114, if you're following it here, Sidney's in Florence, Oregon. How many of you have been in Florence? How many of you have been in Old Town? It's a great place. And he's calling on a gift shop called the Laughing Clam. And he was invited to stay the night by the owners. He's an attorney who had to retire from Portland, a very powerful job, because he developed multiple sclerosis, and they bought this little gift shop to get by, he and his wife. So they invited Sidney, as they had Jonesy, to stay overnight. And they feed him with pizza and beer and told him of their estranged daughter, who was a prostitute. It was a real hardship on their life. So it's the next morning. Sidney spent the night on the Thompsons' hide-a-bed couch. He didn't really sleep, what with John Marr and Jonesy and a young prostitute running through his head. Slightly before 6 in the morning, he dressed in the light from a table lamp, left a note of thanks on the kitchen counter, and slipped out through the shop into the chilling fog. In the quiet of the early hour, he crossed the street, empty except for the old caddy and a beater Ford pickup, and entered a tiny park that had a gazebo and a wooden deck at the edge of the river. He looked out over the water. The current was slow, the river glassy. The graceful arches of a 30s-era Art Deco concrete bridge stood high in the mist and spanned the Sahuslaw River. A blue heron soared by soundlessly on its huge wingspan and landed near the shoreline. Sidney stood quietly watching the bird in the cool mist and considered who he was at that moment. A messenger of death, prey to a threatened predator, a salesman of trivia, and a master of false starts. Thank you very much.